Okay. All right. Well, it is 4 p.m. on Sunday, the 1st of February, 2026. Welcome to the second episode of the Sunday Sesh podcast. We've just finished watching the fights. Did anyone watch it? How good was Volk? Volk got up, defended his title. I am absolutely got my ring hanging out here because I was not set up and ready to go. I got too busy watching the fights. But we're here now. We're on, and I hope everyone's had a great Sunday because I certainly have. We're going to go through the fight results. We're going to talk my golf game today. It's been a red letter day for the Sunday Sesh podcast. Red letter day. We're going to talk my ever expanding book of feuds. We're going to talk 100 days sober, 100 days for me today. And we're going to go through my bottom four NRL sides for this year coming. Who is going to get the spoon? Who is the bottom four going to be? As always, the chat is live. We had a great time last week with people jumping on, plenty of banter. Really, really enjoyed it. Don't need to keep it too respectful. I'm not too sensitive like that. Just be mindful of others that are in the chat, and let's rip into it. Sorry if I look a bit distracted. As I said, I got my ring hanging out. I was just trying to get all this sorted in time for all of us. Background looks good. Camera looks good. I forgot half my bits and bobs and cords, so we'll make do. And I just want to, while I got you, double check that we're actually on. YouTube. Surely we're live. If anyone's out there in the big wide world can tell me that we're live, that'd be great. And here we go. Live. Yep, we're working. Just waiting for the delay. There you go. And we've got sound. Very good. I can turn that off. Okay. Well, what a Sunday it has been. Wyong Golf Club this morning. 41 points, if you don't mind, with 2 wipes. For those who don't follow me on socials, you really should. But really the only reason is to hear about my horrendous golf. The goal, for anyone who's wondering, not that anyone has asked, is to get to 15 by the end of March handicap. Currently in 18.4, but with today's 41 points, we should be heading south pretty quickly. 2 wipes, 2 at 85 off a stick. Triple bogeyed the first and triple bogeyed the last. Got excited on the last. I was already on 41 points, so I sliced a drive straight out of bounds and onto the highway, which if anyone knows Wyong Golf Club, they would know that that's fairly common. But good things in the nothing to complain about today. I usually have a fair blow up in me, but nothing to complain about. 15 from 18 in 2 months is going to be a bit tough, but if I keep having 40 points, it shouldn't be too tough. Shouldn't take too long to get down there. Shout out to Random Gorilla again. He's not going to be on here today, but shout out to the Random Gorilla for the golf gear, mate. It was hot as hell, so I've tested the sweat worthiness of all your gear. I lost about 12 kilos. It was an absolute sauna out there today, but thank you for the gear. The hat may never see the light of day again. It's absolutely trash with sweat. Shirt rocked well, mate. No one could tell because of the blackness. Bit more breathability. If I was to give a review, an honest review, and not just tell everybody that everything's awesome, I'd just say a little bit more air in there for me. That'd be great. Thanks very much. Just a reminder, guys, the chat is live. Okay, so jump on, say good day. One of the mistakes we made last week with the teething problems is everyone was talking at once, which was fine, but I never got to finish a thought, which is my fault. So the rule is today, if I'm ranting, keep chatting, but I'm not going to hopefully recognise the chat until I'm done. All right, let's rip into it. UFC 325 in Sydney today. Normally we go to these things, but they've just made it that bloody expensive that to take your family down there, you've got to do a second mortgage on your house. So we paid the $60 to KO for the pay-per-view instead. Bolt got up. That's the important thing. None of my other boys won, though. Local hero here on the Central Coast, Jamie Malarkey, he went down. He got suplexed into bloody hell, into the dark, deep depths of hell. He got dropped on his head of beauty and then choked out / neck crank. Didn't last much longer after that. Great guy, Jamie, when you meet him. Nice as hell. But he's also a serial killer. Absolute serial killer. Bam Bam, Jesus, man. Tight to Avasa. What can we say about Bam Bam's fight? He looked like a dude that until recently was 150 kilos. He looked like a dude that until recently was 150 kilos, which he said in an interview that I watched that he was. So very, very funny. 2 rounds in, both blokes just stood there and looked at each other and wanted someone to do something because none of them could take a breath. Absolutely rooted, and he lost on points. Listen, man, I walked 18 holes today and I nearly died. So I'm not by no means bagging anybody for getting tired in the ring, especially those heavyweights. But man, that last the last round was very, very funny. It was an argument between who was going to cuddle who the most to hold them up so they could get a breath. My God. Dan Hooker, even though he's not an Aussie, we've pretty much adopted him over here. He got his ass beat. He got his ass beat bad by some French dude who doesn't even rate a mention. And then Volk's just gone 5 rounds with Diego Lopez, but schooled him, really. Absolutely schooled him. Does that to a lot of people, Volk. He doesn't show any signs of getting old, and every fight he gets smarter, just gets smarter every single time. So good on you, Volk. We love you, brother, and keep up the good work. Is anyone a UFC fan out there that's listening? Jump in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. I didn't see any of the prelim fights. I was too busy having 41 points, if you don't mind, and needed to swim after that, which is why my hair looks like it does. 41 points in the bag. I'm really looking forward to when the footy season starts. We'll actually be able to sit here and watch a game together, which will help kill a bit of time. Not going to lie, it's not the easiest thing in the world to sit here for 2 hours and talk to yourself. We'll have some guests on at some point. There's actually, I'm getting plenty of support, which is nice. Plenty of people think this is a good idea. I'm not so sure, but I enjoy doing it. So we'll keep going with it. Thanks to Jerky G during the week for giving me the beef jerky. I've run out for today's potty though, so that's a bit of a problem. Random Gorilla with the golf gear. Keep the gear coming, guys. Listen, I don't ask for sponsors and there's no paid for ads here, but I'll take all the free shit in the world. All the free shit in the world, I will take it. What else today? Well, on a semi-serious note, the idea of this podcast is sports, shit talk, and sobriety. So let's talk about 100 days. 100 days off the grog for me today. It is a day that I never thought I would see. And anyone who knows me, I know that anyone who knows me is, would have had bets against me the minute they found out that I was off the drink. We got there. Still, yeah, I'm not doing 100 and done. I'm done for good. So we'll keep ticking off the milestones. But I thought I'd talk a little bit about what it felt like. I've had people reaching out privately who are going through their own stuff and quizzing me on how it's been going, what it's all about, because it does scare a lot of people. If you are heavily relying on alcohol to deal with all your stress, to deal with all your social outings, to deal with any sporting event, to deal with any concert, to deal with anything, the spectre of giving it up is a scary, scary thing for people. And it's a legitimate fear. I used every excuse under the sun to keep drinking. My excuses were I needed it to go to sleep. It was I needed it to have a good time. It was I needed it to relax. It was I needed it to deal with stress. I needed it to deal with bad things that happened. And I carried that on for a long, long, long time until I woke up one day and just went, no, you know what, I'm done. And one of the things I noted was that when people first found out I'd stopped drinking, everyone wanted to know what world catastrophic event had happened in the world for that to happen. No one is really ready to believe that I just decided to do it, which, you know, people can't be blamed because when someone makes such a drastic change of that, obviously you think something spurred it on. Truth be told, my mental health spurred it on. I wasn't in a good place mentally. I hadn't been for 12 months. I'd tried just about everything else, and the only thing that was still hanging on was the grog. So I just made the call one day and went, if I really want to sort my shit out, let's push through all those barriers that I'd been inventing for why I had to drink and see if it made a difference. Now, it isn't what you would think. It isn't what everyone thinks it might be. It isn't a magic pill, right? So anyone who's out there wondering whether they should stop drinking, I encourage you, if you think you should, it's probably a good sign that you should. I'm not here to tell anyone not to drink, Jesus Christ. I would never be that hypocritical, but if you're sitting there going, I wish I could stop drinking, or I really should stop drinking, that's probably the sign that you should. But don't expect to wake up the next day after one day off the drink and your life to have changed. You'll have made a very important decision, but things are probably going to get worse before they get better. And that's what I found. So a couple of key points. You got to have a reason for doing it, but it's got to be your reason, okay? You can't be doing it for anybody else, and that's with any goal, okay? Who would have thought a podcast like this would be talking about goals, but here we are. You've got to be selfish about it. So, you know, my Mrs. Sunday Sesh should tell you she wanted me to stop drinking 20 years ago or 15 years ago when we first met. But her wanting me to, or even health reasons and bits and pieces that happened in the past, that wasn't, all those things would be doing it for somebody else. It wasn't until I wanted to do it for myself that I actually did do it. And because I'm doing it for myself, that's probably the reason it's stuck for 100 days so far. So make sure you're doing it for you and not for somebody else, because if it's for somebody else's reasons, it's too easy to stop, okay? It's too easy to stop. Now, the second thing, depending on how heavily dependent you were on the grog for your emotional state, things are going to get worse before they get better. So my nervous system, man, my nervous system for the first probably 2 months was absolutely off its head. I was 100% wide 100% of the time. There's a whole heap of science behind why that's happening, but basically the alcohol was suppressing the nervous system and the dopamine and the serotonin and all that sort of crap. So your body actually produces less of that itself because the alcohol is doing it for you. So for the first couple of months, if you were a daily or a nightly drinker like I was and a bend it like Beckham on weekends, you're going to feel some things that you haven't felt before, and that's just your body adjusting. But it's going to make you pissed off. Your sleep will get worse before it gets better. You will be way more irritable. I've already got a short fuse, but I was even more shorter fused for quite a while there, and emotionally, you're going to actually have to deal with feelings, which is a hard thing for people who've been using alcohol to not deal with feelings for as long as they can remember. So I'm not now anyone who was thinking about not drinking is 100% not going to stop drinking. But I just didn't want to paint it like it's all roses, okay? Socially, you are going to have to, or not have to, that's a lie. You will naturally migrate to different groups socially. You will find that if your whole social existence is heavily relying on the existence of alcohol, i.e. the pub and things like that, you are going to have a change of your inner circle, outer circle, and that, generally speaking, will be for the better. You will find there's some people that were in your life that maybe shouldn't have been. You'll find out who's really got your back. I've had many, many, many messages of support, And I've also had people I can tell sitting back and just waiting for me to fuck it up. But that's probably a key point. People are going to sit back and wait for you to fuck it up, and that's not their fault. That's your fault. That's the exact result of your behavior over the past 20, 30, 5, 10 years, 3 days, whatever it was. If people have got the impression that you're no chance of succeeding, that's probably a direct correlation to how you've behaved in the past. And most people who know me would know that apart from work times, there wasn't much doing without a beer in my hand. So I've deserved every bit of that. You'll also find, guys, there are many, many, many more people doing it than you would think. The biggest shock for me is how many people have given up grog. It's some sort of a movement that's going on at the moment, and they're coming out of the woodwork everywhere. So both in the media, in the local groups, online, celebrity sports people. There are many, many more people. You will not be alone, I can guarantee you. I think I told the story last week, the first golf game I played after I quit. I walked in and got paired with a group of 3 people, 2 90-year-olds and one bloke who was my age who had quit drink 2 years ago for similar reasons to what I did. So the universe shall provide, but you will not be alone, so don't be scared of that. What else? You will gain much more clarity of thought, not straight away, like I said. And there's a grieving process, and it's okay to grieve. But one thing I found, and I think I said this last week too, it has been relatively easy to some extent. Like I've been going to the pub, I've been hanging out with people drinking. My wife, God love her, has gone out, gone down with the ship with me. She's stopped drinking as well, but I haven't put in an expectation on anybody to change their behaviours while I'm doing what I'm doing. So being around it hasn't bothered me at all. Being in pubs hasn't bothered me at all. Going to events has not bothered me at all. Even playing golf without a beer has not bothered me at all because my golf's been better, but I used to be able to put 12 or 14 away over 18 holes. So it's the things that'll get you is the quiet time. So the quiet times when you're just sitting kicking back at home and the sun's out and you're around the pool and there's absolutely no external reason why you shouldn't have a beer or couldn't have a beer without causing too much trouble. They're the hard ones where you just go, oh, be all right. Like sitting here now, and that's why I started this thing, right? Sitting here now, there's absolutely nothing, no real good reason that I couldn't have a beer. So they're the things that'll get you. So just find something to do. I've increased, I obviously started doing this thing to fill in a bit of spare time. I'm playing golf. We talked last week about why I think golf is so important for so many people. Had a great conversation on the golf course today about the same thing, actually. But guys, overall, you'll be able to do it. If you want to do it, just do it, essentially. Sorry to sound like Nike Air, but there's a lot of people have reached out and said, oh, I want to do it, or I'm going to do it in a month, or I'm going to do it soon, or whatever. Just do it, because every day you don't is another day you're going to. All right. All right, but enough of the serious stuff. The moment you've all been waiting for, the Book of Feuds. We mentioned I introduced my Book of Feuds last week, the one-sided feuds, the people I'm feuding with, that they got no idea I'm feuding with them. And just to recap, we had Rory McIlroy on my list, can't cop the bloke. It was great to see him not win during the week. Lando Norris, can't cop the bloke for the same reason I can't cop Rory. Maybe it's because they're from that part of the world. Melbourne Storm, can't cop the Melbourne Storm. We're feuding hard. They've produced more grubs than any rugby league club on the planet. King Gutho, we still can't stand King Gutho. We're still feuding with King Gutho hard. And top of my list, and still top of my list, and forever top of my list, is Queensland supporters who were born in New South Wales, the worst of the worst, the lowest of the low, the worst human beings on God's green earth are people who were born in New South Wales but go for Queensland just because they won a few games. So a couple more people have been added to the list in the last week. I did a post on Insta during the week, which raised a few eyebrows. From golf last week, actually. So we've added 2 people to the list of feuds. If you fucking play golf and you hit your ball into a bunker and you go in there and hit your ball out and you leave that bunker without raking up your fucking footsteps, or you divot, we're feuding. Me and you are feuding hard. The most frustrating game in the world, and you want to make it harder for the people playing behind you. You've probably got the shits that you're in the bunker to begin with. You've probably had 18 shots out of it. How the fuck do you think it is acceptable to then just leave your shit everywhere for everyone else to have to deal with? May or may not have something to do with me being in a greenside bunker last week on the hardest hole in the course for two, and all I needed to do was get out of the bunker and have a putt, and I would have had a 4 or 4. But me fucking ball's 3 inches deep in someone's size 12 fucking hoof mark. Absolutely no chance of getting it out. So yes, duff the fucking shot. And then where does it land? It lands in someone else's size 10 fucking hoof mark. Took me 3 shots to get out of the bunker. I wiped the fucking hole again, which today I got 4 or 4, mind you. Just want to throw that in there. But I just don't know what you're thinking. And people, someone I was playing with said, social golfers. Can't have been fucking social golfers. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. There was only members playing comp before me. So we're feuding. We're feuding. What? You don't repair your pitch marks? We're feuding. You don't fill your divots in on the fairway? Feuding. You want to play the game? Fucking treat it with the respect it deserves. Right. So they're going firmly on the list of one-way feuds. Next, and this is the one I've got a few questions about. I said in my post that people who don't rake bunkers are as bad as people who don't park and pay at the petrol station. And someone said, but I go and pay after I fill my car up. Here's the thing. If you go to a Cowtex and you fill your car up and you look behind you and there's a car waiting or 2 cars waiting or 3 cars waiting, and you think it's okay to just grab your wallet, take your sweet ass fucking time, go into the shop, look for some lollies, grab a drink, make a coffee, or even just go and pay straight away, me and you are feuding. If there is a car spot anywhere within cooee of that petrol pump and you don't get back in your car and park the fucking thing and then go and pay, you should be shot. You should be locked in a dark room with Queensland supporters who were born in New South Wales and people who don't rake their bunkers. And I'll tell you what, the first time you do it, the first time you fill your car up and go and park and then pay, you'll walk back out of the shop and it was like the sun will open up above you and everyone will all hail you as Lord. Everyone goes, oh, shit. And we can start a movement here, people. We can start a movement here. Because I guarantee you, everyone I've ever done it for has then filled their car up and gone and parked so the person behind them didn't have to wait. How fucking hard is it? And it's always the people who don't do it are always the ones who, even when they get back to their car, have got to check their phone, have got to put their seatbelt on, have got to fucking check the mirrors, have got to make sure the temperature's right, is the seat adjusted, is the steering wheel where I fucking left it before they start their car and drive off. Fill your fucking car up and fuck off. We're feuding. Absolutely feuding. And I reckon it's the majority of the population I'm now feuding with because I see very few people do it. But you've now been educated. Let's start a movement. Park and pay, people. Park and pay. We've got a few people on. I haven't seen anyone in the chat. Say hello, guys. Give me your thoughts. Makes the day go faster. All right. What's next on the list? All right. NRL bottom 4. Anyone can pick a top 4. We're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. Hopefully by the time the comp starts, we'll have some sort of list, which is in no way going to resemble the list at the end of the year because I don't have a fucking clue what I'm talking about. But these are my thoughts and I'm entitled to them. I've got the microphone. Give me a bad day for Dragons and Knight fans, I'm telling you. Bad day for Dragons and Knight fans. And may or may not have something to do with Gutho, the Dragons, but tough shit. Like I said, my list. All right, I've given this a long, hard thought. And coming in 17th this year, getting the wooden spoon. It'll be a close run fight though. The next team won't be much in front of them. But the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Wooden Spooners, 2026, St. George Illawarra Dragons. You can take that to the bank. You can take it to the bank. Someone hit Flano up with that last year. They said, oh, people are picking you for the spoon. And in his arrogant, smug fucking drug cheating, salary cap cheating look, he said, won't happen. We won't come last. They fucking nearly did. They nearly did. And here's the thing, unpopular opinion. It's nothing to do with his son. Kyle Flanagan is a good footballer. Kyle Flanagan was probably the best player the Dragons had last year. Now, if every time someone asked Coach Flanagan about why his son was still in the team, he just said that, people would probably sit back and go, oh, fuck, you know what? He's probably right. The amount of people I've seen go, and this is TV commentators now, and people are supposed to know what they're talking about, say that he's an average first grader and, you know, they should put someone else in. Haven't been watching the games. Every Dragons game I watched, and granted, I try my fucking hardest not to watch any of them, but every Dragons game I've watched, Kyle Flanagan's been one of the best players. Now, that isn't going to stop them getting the wooden spoon because they've hired they've recruited a halfback from Cronulla who has looked good in patches in games for Cronulla, but he's never run a side before. Their forward pack, man, what are they doing letting Jack de Belin go? Think what you want about Jack de Belin, but I looked at their forward pack today. It's weak as piss. You got Jaden Sewer, who's old as hell. You've got Luciano Leilua, who is as undisciplined as hell, usually overweight. I've heard he's training the house down, but you'll believe it when we see it, and he hasn't got the discipline to match. They've got no disciplined workhorses in their forward pack. They've got no depth there. A couple of the people they uncovered last year are still out. One of them did their ACL. His name's eluding me right now. I should have wrote it down. And then you've got Kyle, not the worst footballer in the world, and Daniel Atkins in the halves. You got Gutho, the whinger, at fucking fullback. You got Cookie, and I love Cookie, but he hasn't got the spark that he once had. And you don't need Cookie in your side just to be passing out a dummy half. Or you need a running Cookie, or you need to get a halfback hooker in there. You can, but Jacob Little's done his knee, so Cookie's got no competition. You got Val out in the centres, who's old as hell, and then you really got a bunch of nobodies. So combine a lack of talent across the board, a lack of depth if they get injured, and a poor culture because of the coach and fucking King Gutho, and I think they're in real fucking trouble. And the problem is with sides like that, it happens with Newcastle for the last couple of years. It happened all the time with Parramatta when Gutho was there, and it happens with Flanagan, is whenever they start losing, it is never once their fault. Not once. So the problem is they may get off to a rough start for the season and they'll be blaming everyone else for their rough start, not themselves, which means they won't improve and can't improve. There's a reason the first person that Parramatta fucked off when Jason Rolls took over was Gutho, closely followed by Ryan Madison. That shit is a disease and it catches, and it caught Parramatta for a fucking million years. So 17th, but without Kyle Flanagan being the worst player in the world. The people who are under Kyle Flanagan have got no fucking idea what they're talking about. So all the regular punters that jump on the bandwagon because that's what the newspapers say, you need to stop for a second and have a look. And that bloke, man, talk about resilience. He has copped shit his entire career, and sometimes it's been deserved. But in the Dragons setup, I don't think it's actually been deserved. There was many other options. King Tongia should have gone and taken a break. Lockie Elias or the other bloke should have come up from New South Wales Cup, but you had to keep Flanagan in the side because he was one of their best players. He had most of their try assists, fucking tried his ass off. And this is a kid that copped it so much when he went to Canterbury, or the Roosters, one of the two, that he was on the fucking camera crying because he just wanted people to know he could play footy. Now, at those times, the game had passed him. The game had changed too much. The structured halfback went out the window, so he ran out of steam. And at those times, people were way too cruel, but they were justified. He shouldn't have been an NRL halfback. But in that stupid fucking team, the Dragons, I could play halfback. So Kyle Flanagan, you've got my vote for the next season until you actually pay for someone half decent. Right, number 16. Don't think my brother will ever listen to this, but number 16 goes out to my brother. Number 16 is the Newcastle Knights. The Newcastle Knights are going to fight it out with the Dragons for the spoon. And I hate to say it because I've got no beef with the Knights. Me and the Knights aren't feuding. Gibbsy, if he ever listens to this, he said to me he messaged me on socials and said, I hope the Knights isn't a feud and it's just that they're shit. Yes, they're shit. And fuck. I said this last week, but how they kept Adam Bryan for as long as they have with the coaching record he had, they've dug themselves a huge, huge hole, but they've had no luck. The Knights had Nathan Tinkler, they had Wayne Bennett do them dirty. And the culture that Newcastle once was has gone out the window. I remember the grand final when they beat Manly, who I now support. I was only a young kid. I remember where I was, sitting on a bench seat at our dining room table in Warnervale when Darren Albert scored that try, and Mum, who was a Tigers supporter, and me ran from opposite sides of the house to hug each other. So I love the Knights when they're going good. Don't rate Callum Ponga. He'll probably make my feud list at some point. But the Knights have just got, one, they're perennial underperformers. They've got a weak culture, and I don't know if the coach they've hired can fix that culture because he couldn't get on top of the culture at the Titans. Their forward pack, now that they've lost Leo Thompson and KPP, looks terrible on paper. Fuck, it looks bad. They lost Jack Etherington too, and don't underrate that. I know the guy's an absolute lunatic and was trying to shape up to people in the sheds, but he brought some fucking animal to the pack, and that's what they're going to be missing. So you got no pack, except for Dylan Lucas. Everyone leave my boy Dylan Lucas alone. He's my Supercoach special, him and Fletcher Sharp. They've paid $13 million for a halfback who's not really a halfback. Now, the drums are going to be beating for Dylan Brown the minute he steps foot on the field. The minute he has a bad or an average game. Oh, it's not even going to get to that. Before the season even starts, every news report, every panel show, NRL 360 and all that, all they're going to talk about is will Dylan Brown deliver? And I don't think he can deliver to $13 million standard. I think he's on a hiding to nothing. Even if he's the greatest player in the league, how are you going to justify $13 million? So the poor bloke has got no chance. And, mate, if someone gives me $13 million tomorrow, I'm not fucking turning up for work the next day. I can assure you. So how's his attitude going to be? He was great in the World Club Challenge or whatever the international stuff at the end of the year's official title was, and he was probably the best player. And the fact that Harry Grant got player of the series is another reason why we hate the Melbourne Storm. But, poor culture, terrible forward pack. I really liked Sandon Smith, but it could be another Jack Cogger where Sandon Smith performed well at the Roosters, where he was well coached and had the culture around him. And I know the Roosters underperformed last year, but he still had a fairly decent side around him. Can he go and take the next step and run a team? I don't know. We'll find out. But, I mean, the great thing for Sandon Smith is, the great thing for everyone in that side, even Kalen Ponga, is that they've paid a bloke $13 million fucking dollars to take all the bullets for him. Doesn't matter if Dylan Brown's the best player on the field and everyone else shits the bed. They lose, Dylan Brown's copping it. Because that's the type of society we're in. Him and Kyle Flanagan. The other thing is too, guys, with the Dragons and the Knights, if they get any injuries at all, they're weak. I believe they're weak. Their run-on sides are weak, but they get any injuries at all, they're fucked. Proper fucked. So, Dragons 17th, Knights 16th. 14th. 14th. I've gone the Titans. I've gone the Gold Coast Titans. Now, what I am picturing for the Gold Coast Titans is a Parramatta-esque resurgence at the end of the season, but the damage is already going to be done. So Hano's come in. I like Hano's the way he talks. I like his culture. We'll see if it transfers into a head coaching role because it's easy to talk it, a lot harder to do it. But he's done exactly what Jason Rolls did. He's come in and cleaned house. He got rid of Dave Fafita, who he absolutely had to. You can't have a bloke like that on too much money. They're doing absolutely nothing like he's done for all the years he's done it. They got some good young kids, like their fullback. He's a gem, Keanu Kinney. You got Tino, but there's going to be speculation all year about whether Tino's staying or going. He probably needs to ink a deal or fuck off, I reckon, because that's not going to help the team, just waiting for him to make a decision all year. But then who else have they got? I mean, the side I read today is their likely starting team has AJ Brimson at 5'8". Is AJ Brimson really the best 5'8" you got at the club? AJ Brimson's an absolutely brilliant player when he's on the field and not injured. But what's his best position? I think he's a fullback. But I also think you got to have Keanu Kinney in the side because so they've had Brimson at centre. I think they've had him at 14 for a while and now 5'8". If AJ Brimson's your best 5'8", you're in trouble. The next team coming up has a similar issue. Any side that doesn't have a spine that is playing in their preferred position or playing in their best position, you got problems. So I think he'll probably introduce a completely new way of playing because, let's be honest, Desi was well past it and tends to the systems he was running would have been straight out the door. You'll have that teething period. He'll be heavily focused on defence like Riles was when he went to Parramatta. It always takes a while for people who aren't used to tackling to learn a new defensive system. And let's call it what it is. The Titans aren't used to tackling. And they're lacking – Jaden Campbell. Jaden Campbell's an absolute gun, but I think he needs someone more structured outside him, and I don't think AJ Brimson is a structured half. AJ Brimson's off the cuff like Jaden Campbell is. So if you've got two people who are instinctive players who play off the cuff, it's very hard when things go wrong. It's great footy when you're winning. It's great footy when the other side's defensive structures aren't set. It gets very, very tough when you're behind, or just grinding out wins. So I got the Titans in 14th. Now, I only just had them in 14th because coming in 15th, West Tigers. West Tigers just cannot get out of their own fucking way. Cannot get out of their own fucking way. I don't care who they buy. I don't care what they've got going on the field. The way that club is fucking run and all the stuff that's going on, they can't win. They can't win. Because of who they've bought and because of the random bits of talent they've got spread across the park, I think they'll win more games than the Titans, the Knights and the Dragons. But listen, this whole bottom four could be turned in any direction. The Tigers could easily get the spoon as well. The Titans are going to come home hard at the end of the year, so they'll be gunning for – I did have them flipped. Very, very sorry. I had them flipped. I got the Tigers. I've written it in the wrong order, but I got the numbers beside them. I got the Dragons coming last. I got the Knights coming second last, and then I got the Tigers. So we'll keep everything I said about the Titans because the reason I've got the Titans above those three is because they're going to come home like a wet sail. Their second half of the year, they'll have the defensive structure sorted. They'll have the culture sorted. They'll be winning games they shouldn't win. And I can't, I've said it a couple of times now, but they'll be very Parramatta-esque from this year. So then the Tigers, who are my 15th team, they will be fighting it out with the Knights and the Dragons for the spoon, but I had to rank them somewhere. I looked at their side today. They got no real depth anywhere. They have signed KPP, Kai Pearce-Paul, from the Knights. It's a good signing. But who's he running off? He's an edge-back rower. He'll be running off Luai. But Luai's running off Adam Dewey. Now, a couple of years ago when Adam Dewey was running around, I think someone will be able to dig up social media where I said he's the slowest player in the NRL. He's probably a bit unfair. At the time, he probably was the slowest player in the NRL. Watching him go around last year, he's big, he's quick, he fucking wants it. He's got that dog in him. But is he the best halfback at your club? The Code Sports article I read today have got him starting at halfback. So just like I said for the Knights, or the Titans, with AJ Brimson at 5'8", if Adam Dewey, who's normally a centre, they've played him at lock. I think at one stage he wanted to be a fullback. If he's your best halfback, fuck, you're in the shit. You're in the shit. The chemistry, I don't know. There seems to be a thing with the Tigers because you'd think because they brought so many players over from Penrith, there'd be a bit of chemistry there, but also not because they're spread so far across the field. So Taruva's out on a wing. Jerome's at 5'8" or wherever he pops up. And yes, you got Appy at hooker, but he never really connected well with Jerome last year. You could just see that for all their flash, there was no real coherent football from them. And then they started going good when Dewey went into halfback. But if that's your plan for the season, if you're starting the year with Adam Dewey as your starting halfback, you fucking got trouble. And then who knows what happens off the field. They've signed Benji to a 54-year deal for a bloke who's has no runs on the board as a coach. But they've signed him to a 54-year deal. We'll see how strong that is when they start losing again. It's been a bit quiet in Tiger Town for the news. They're all over the news because the board was split, but then the NRL had to get involved. It's an absolute fucking shit show. No one's going to want to go there because it's a fucking shit show. Jareem Buller doesn't. They're arguing over Jareem Buller's contract. They're going to pay him $900,000 to stay. He has shown flashes of being a $900,000 player, but they need some fucking forwards, the Tigers. Look at their bench and who they got coming up. Their forwards are all mostly plotters, right? So they got no one with that KPP. So you got that flair that you need. They got no forwards with a bit of flair, a bit of nous about them. They've got the workhorses that the Dragons don't have, but you need a bit of flair. Alex Twal will keep going around. He'll keep bashing. But who's throwing the odd flick pass or who's getting the centre away? I don't see it in the Tigers. So that's my bottom four. I'll get it in the right order. Wooden Spoon's going to be the Dragons, closely followed by the Knights and the Tigers. And I think the 14th team will be the Titans. You'll see next week when we do the next four. They could easily have been higher, the Titans, because I reckon there's one team in particular that's lucky I love one of their players. Otherwise, they'd probably been in the bottom four as well. But keen to get in the chat, get in the comments. Keen to hear your bottom four. Keen to know what you think. All right. I need a drink. Played golf today with, I won't name him, but I always sign up as a single. So whenever I go to golf, unless I'm playing with the neighbour or someone I know, I just chuck my name in a group, random, and it's beautiful for meeting new people. Helps with my other job and helps with your social skills. And today I ended up in the group of an ex-NRL player. Never met him before. He used to play for my junior club as well, but we're 5 years apart in age, so never really crossed paths. An absolute salt of the earth, man. Played with him and his 14-year-old son, who, mate, he was 6 foot tall already. So dad's only 4 foot tall, but 14-year-old son was 6 foot tall, and just beautiful people. Beautiful people, which is good to see. All the shit that doesn't get reported about the NRL. mind you, not a huge fucking superstar. No one offered him fucking $13 million to play halfback. But another example of why I think more men especially should get out on the golf course, even if you can't play it. Now, he only picked it up December last year because his son started playing. I already said last week I can't get my kids to do any bloody sport I want, but he's like, no, if I already didn't see the kids and then they started playing golf, so fuck, I better start playing, otherwise I'm never going to see them. Funniest thing ever though, you think NRL player, plenty of coin, he's walking around with a driver, a 3-wood, a 7-iron and 2 wedges and a putter. That's it. So every shot from the tee box to the green was a 7-iron. Didn't matter whether he was 200 out, 100 out or 5 out, or he'd get his wedge out. Spent all his money buying all his kids' golf gear, and the wife apparently pulled up stumps and went, no, no soup for you. So he's taken up golf. He's done the opposite of me. I got back into golf and had to buy absolutely fucking everything. I've got every gadget gizmo known to man. But, man, happy as Larry, just knocking them down the fairway, knocking them down the middle, mind you, while I was spraying them everywhere. And we got chatting and he agreed. Like, golf's your meditation. That's your solitude. And even though he was there with his kid on the course, you're still not really thinking about family life while you're out there. You're not thinking about work life, that's for sure. We had a great day today. Absolute great day. Might have helped with the 41 points. There's nothing worse. It hasn't happened often, but now I'm going to jinx myself. There's nothing worse than getting put in a group on the golf course of fucking idiots. You got a couple of different types of fucking idiots on the golf course. The rule Nazi. The rule Nazi is a special breed of fucking idiot. Now, sport's meant to be played by the rules. Golf is a shitload of rules. So I've got no issues and play by the rules. But you got these dickheads who, even though you're playing by the rules, have got to make sure you're playing by the rules, and they've got to make sure that you know that they know the rules that maybe you don't know. So, and they will, mate, I'm playing with 14-year-old kids today. If a 14-year-old fucking kid who's trying to learn golf wants to move his ball out of a shit lie or a fucking bad part on the golf course, go ahead, mate. Go for it. It's not affecting me. It's not taking any skin off my nose. Would have been different if he was chasing he was close to my 41 points. Fucking play it as it lies, son. Play it as it lies. But I've spent half the day educating the kids on some of this stuff because they will get stuck with a fucking dickhead in a group who's a rule Nazi, and it'll ruin golf for them. Absolutely ruin golf for them. There's another kind of fucking idiot on the golf course. They're the non-talking guys. No banter. Got to be quiet. Everything's very, very serious. So fucking idiot's probably tough. People get to live their own life, but I can't play golf like that. Can't be quiet. Say hello. Let's have a bit of fun. We got stuck behind a whole group of those people today, and you could tell. They walked off a tee, walking straight towards us. Hi, guys. How you going? Not a fucking peep out of them. Not a peep out of them. Too cool for school. They're fucking idiots you meet on the golf course. They're also the same people that'll hit up on you, even though you clearly haven't had your second shot yet. When they get to the tee box, they don't give a fuck. They'll hit up on you no matter what. They're also probably the same people. All these people fit into the same group. We'll fucking have 8 practice swings, test the wind, throw some grass in the air, check their glove, put their glove on, take their glove off, put their glove back on again, then wait for the people in front of them, who are 250 metres away, mind you, to clear the green and then hit the fucking ball 10 metres. They're fucking idiots that you meet on the golf course. Hit the ball fucking 10 metres. Everyone's complaining about the pace of play. I like 4 hours. You see some heroes online go, nah, golf should be 2.5 hours or 3 hours. Get fucked. 4 hours, good round. 4 hours 15, anywhere either side of 4 hours. Once it gets 4.5 and beyond, you're going too slow. But you'll go too fucking slow if you got some dickhead waiting for people to clear the green 300 metres in front of him to dink it 5 metres down the fairway. Then you got fucking idiots who, when they're on the green, they're probably the same people again, will spend 10 minutes lining a fucking 3-foot putt up and then miss the fucking thing. They got to make sure the line on the ball's going where they want it to go. They got to make sure that, again, the wind direction. They got to check the fucking slope of the green. They got to check the grain of the grass, and then they miss a fucking putt. They're the type of fucking idiots you meet on the golf course. People who don't rake their bunkers, they're probably in the same group. Then there's some, like I'm all for fun on the golf course, but then there's some who take it way too far. They got fucking boom boxes strapped to their golf course, golf cart. They're playing fucking heavy metal music. They're completely disregarding anyone else. And it's fucking hard to hit a golf ball. It's even harder when there's a whole heap of noise going on around you or someone's playing a fucking boom box. So I might be feuding with all these people. By the way, golf's a lovely game and everyone should play it. Now, I did have a request during the week to talk about the tennis. I was asked if this was a tennis-friendly podcast and we'd discuss it. So there you go, Megs. I've discussed the tennis. Moving right along. I've lost touch with the tennis, to be honest. I did hear that I was going to be feuding with Novak. Actually, Novak Djokovic was going to be on my list of feuds this week because that bloke fucking just rubs me right up the wrong way. Remember when he was coming up and if he was losing a game, he used to fake an injury. Every game he'd retired hurt. So he'd win, and then he'd get to a certain point. It was usually around the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, and he'd just be injured all of a sudden. Just so happened to be, she's watching. Megsy's watching in the chat. How are you, Megs? You good? You're going to have to educate me, mate, because I don't know who Sinner is. I don't know who Alcatraz is. I don't know who any of the new people are. I know that I hate Novak Djokovic until he did what he did the other night, which was come out and kick one of the young dudes' asses. So he's got some go in him now, Novak. It's almost the opposite of what he had when he started. So he pretended to get hurt in every important game and then would blame somebody else. So he fits in the Gutho and the Lando and the fucking Rory McIlroy field. And then he fucking won 24 years or 24 Grand Slams in a row. But he only started doing that after Sampras left and who else used to beat him? What's the Spanish bloke's name? I've forgotten. What's the Spanish bloke's name, Meg? He could only ever win on clay courts. So then Novak takes over, and then I heard a reporter get into Novak the other day and go, what's it like? You started your career having to chase people and then you're finishing your career having to chase these young kids, and fuck, that pissed him off. That pissed Novak right off. What do you mean I got to chase these young kids? I've won fucking 24 Grand Slams in a row or some bullshit. He fired right up. And then he came out the other night, and apparently it was an epic game of tennis, and flogged him. Never been able to watch tennis. Love playing it. It won't shock you that I was a brilliant tennis player when I was a kid, because there's no sport I can't do. But never watching it live just doesn't do it for me. Never has. Nadal was the Spanish guy, yeah, with the ponytail. Rafa Nadal. Alcaraz or Alcatraz? Alcaraz. But the final of the Aussie Opens on tonight. Who gives a shit? Megan Green gives a shit. That's who gives a shit. Nobody else. Not a tennis-friendly podcast. Well, I thought Sinner was who's the number one? Is it Alcaraz or Sinner? Great name for tennis, Sinner. Great name. Great name. So Novak is off me list of feuds for now. What else is happening? Who's your bottom four in the NRL, Megsy? And who are you backing in the tennis, by the way? You're saying he's got a tough game. Are you backing Novak or Alcatraz? And you can't sit on the fence. Good to see you, Megs. Me and Megsy go way back. Forgot to mention too, guys, when I was talking about the 100 days, I use this app. To anyone who was thinking about it, I'm an impulse buyer, so when I couldn't spend money on grog, she's got nothing with the NRL. Who's going to win the fucking tennis? We're going to have to talk more tennis. I'm very sorry, people, but Megan's the only one in the chat, so I've got to talk tennis for a minute. So I stopped drinking, and I've bought a hybrid fucking truck, so I'm not paying for grog and I'm not paying for petrol. Fuck, I'm saving some money. But anyway, one of the impulse buys I fucking did when I first stopped drinking, because if I wasn't going to drink, I had to do something. So I bought lots of apps. One of them was a reframe app. So anyone who's, and it's not just about quitting drinking, it's about cutting back. Anyone who wants to have a month off, get the reframe app. Really, really good. I have my doubts, but really, really good. They've got, you can go as far into it as you want. They've got coaches on there. They've got groups. They have meetings on Zoom every single day at different times for all people all around the world. Megsy's going for Novak. Anyone playing at 38 years old and at that level is impressive. Mate, I'm 43 and I had 41 points today. Second in the comp at Wong. I'm fucking impressive. Don't worry about me. But I agree with you, 38 years old, but just stop being such a fucking sook. He sooks at the same time. So anyway, the Reframe app, they have meetings, they have all sorts of stuff. I haven't got involved in any of that. They do have some daily tasks for you, which have been real handy. It helps you track your energy. It helps you track your mental state and different bits and pieces. Gives you a counter. So I'm a big stats guy. When I'm at golf, I've got sensors in my clubs to track all my stats and what I'm hitting and where I'm hitting it, so I can look at the end of the day about where I went shit. This is a little bit the same, but what it tells me is in the 100 days I've been off. So I was averaging, when I worked it out, I was averaging between 50 and 60 standard drinks a week. 50 and 60 standard drinks. So it averages it out at a cost of about $200 a week. And that was being conservative. So if I was just drinking at home, $200 a week in bottles of wine and beers, whiskies. Obviously, if I go for a night out, I'm doing $200 an hour. So we called it $200 a week and 50 drinks. So it tells me that I've eliminated 712 drinks in the 100 days. And this is the best bit. Counts the cash for you. Counts the cash. So this is saying haven't spent $2,849 on grog in those 100 days. And now that's not taking into account that we've just come through Christmas. I chose the best time to fucking stop drinking Christmas, because I would have spent $2,849 each week over Christmas if I was drinking, went to Shoal Bay and didn't have a drink. Last time we were there, I think I did a carton of beer a day, something like that. Tells me I've saved 85,462 calories. I have lost 20 kilos, by the way. 80. So counts all that shit for you. And I find that stuff helpful, because then you don't want to quit. You don't want to ruin your streak. Gives you a green mug every day I'm just looking at it now. Gives you a green mug every day that you put in that you didn't have a drink. Gives you special badges. Not that I care about the special badges, but counting the cash is great. What's it counting the cash great for? When your wife has a go at you about the Amazon package that turned up, I go, $2,849 I haven't spent, darling. I'll buy what I want. Doesn't quite go like that, but you get my drift. So that's a Reframe app. Costs, they give you, can't remember how much they give you for free, 30 days. It's either 30 days or 45 days they give you for free. It might be your first month, and then it's something like $150 a year. Right, which might sound like a lot, but quitting ain't easy, man. So give yourself some help, and there'll be something in there for anyone, I reckon, because if you're into group chats and that sort of stuff, like I said, I haven't been in part of that, but there's coaches if you want to have private chats with people, but then there's a counter. So that tells me exactly how much money I'm allowed to spend on golf this year. That's fucking perfect. How we going? Well, we've done an hour. We've done good. I can't wait till the footy starts. Mrs. Sunday Sesh is yelling at me through the door. I'm live on YouTube, darling. What can I do for you? She's just picked up one of the kids. That might be trouble. That might be trouble. All right, guys. Well, we've punched out a good hour. as the footy goes, we'll go for a bit longer. An hour is long enough to be listening to me anyway. We will be, hopefully by the end of this week, I reckon, we'll be on Spotify and Apple. So just the audio version. So anyone who wants to listen to it during the week can. I've just been a bit lazy there and haven't uploaded the last files, but we'll get into it. If anyone's got any ideas or anything they want to talk about in particular, please send them to me. Jump on the socials. I do a bit on there. So the Sunday Sesh pod on Instagram and on TikTok. We've got a Facebook page too. And may you all live long and prosper. And I'll catch you all soon. Have a great week. Look after yourselves. Peace out.